This is the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Dory Stewart.
Welcome back to another episode of the FXBG Neighbors Podcast, where we share the stories of our favorite local brands. I have two special guests joining me today. We've got Dragan and Kevin from Gardening Gaze Farm. Dragan and Kevin, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I am so excited about this. I'm excited to learn more about each of you and about the farm. So let's start there. Share with us, what is Gardening Gaze Farm?
So we are a 27-acre working farm located in King George, Virginia. We are right on US 301, so it's easy to get to us. Just a short drive from Fredericksburg, from Spotsylvania, Stafford, surrounding areas. And we have a farm store that's operated year-round. Right now, we're open 7 days a week, so folks can come out. They can shop, buy farm fresh local products. We like to say that we have done our best to try to create a farmer's market environment 7 days a week without people having to wake up early on a Saturday morning and fight the crowds and try to find parking.
Yeah, absolutely. I got the opportunity to come visit, and it is lovely. It is such a wonderful place, and you've got your own products, and you said it's a working farm. So let's dive a little bit deeper there. Tell us a little bit more about what you're farming yourself and what you have, for sale for the neighbors.
Absolutely. So our original idea was to produce everything. We were so ambitious to let's produce tomatoes, everything. We're going to grow everything. We can supply this. And very first year, we quickly realized there's no way we can supply the demand for local product that this area demands. And really quickly, we switched into we talked to our customers, well, what do you prefer? Only our product, or do you mind if we supplement from other farms? And that's where we started partnering with local farms. We have a great Amish community in Southern Maryland. We bring some of the produce from them. We grow our own. We have tomatoes, peppers, watermelons. We grow some flowers. We added a greenhouse this season. So we can start and prolongate our growing season. We have 300 layers. We have eggs, fresh farm eggs, year round. We do meat chickens. Our butcher season is usually from April through late October. So every weekend you can stop by during the spring, summer, and fall. You can get a fresh, never frozen chicken that was raised right here on the farm, processed, packaged, as I left the farm after came as a chick. What else we have?
Dragan also makes a lot of jams and sauces. Dragan makes all of that stuff. I'm the quality control guy who does all the tasting and say, okay, it's ready now. More heat, more spice, a little of this, a little of that. So from homemade jams, pickle products, marinara sauce, which is back on the shelf now that we have fresh tomatoes in stock. So for us, it's about grabbing those farm fresh products and making our items from that. So if it's not in season, if it's not fresh out of the field, either our own or a neighboring farm, then it doesn't go on the shelf.
I love that. I love that you are doing a lot yourself, but I also love that you're giving other farms opportunity to showcase what they have to offer. I imagine they are just so excited to partner with you. What a win-win for everyone. I love it.
Absolutely. We were able, we work with Monrovia Farms that has been around 100 and close to 120 years. They're out of Colonial Beach. They're a local beef producer. And they're one of our first partners. They're not first, but one of our first partners. And we, everybody, it's a well-known name in this community, in this side of the area. And we were able to add local pork, local honey, and it's just amazing to see the joy of people wanting to help us and being able to work with each other in that sense. So
yeah, I love it. So I want to learn more about the history of Gardening Gaze Farm. So would you mind sharing with me a little bit about your background? And I want to learn the story of how the farm came to be.
Sure. So we left Florida in 2013 and moved to Washington, D.C. I'm a Florida native originally, Dragan is from Croatia, and Dragan lived in Orlando. I lived in Tampa when we met, and we were dating a long distance relationship. And I refused to move to Orlando. He refused to move to Tampa, so we moved to Washington, D.C. That was the great compromise. After 3 years there, we bought a townhouse in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, which we quickly converted our backyard into a growing space. And probably the second year there, after taking out all the builder grade stuff and putting in our own things, gardening just became a passion project of ours. And I would post pictures and simply put hashtag gardening gaze, not really thinking much of it, but we were growing enough produce that we could give stuff to our neighbors, our friends, our family that visited. We started propagating plants and actually selling plants to our neighbors in our neighborhood. And when COVID hit, I surprised Dragan with some merch that said Gardening Gaze on it from a coworker who was a designer. And just for ourselves to have kind of to walk around the neighborhood in, because that's who our neighbors started knowing us as. And that's really kind of where Gardening Gaze was born. Never in a million years thinking that it would evolve into Gardening Gaze Farm and the life that we live today.
Amazing. Okay, and so now you're in DC, you've created this reputation for yourself. How did you end up going from that to buying property in King George and starting the actual farm?
Still thanks to COVID. We often say we are COVID success story, for lack of a better word. We lived close to Capitol, to DC, and going grocery shopping during COVID years was just insane. You go to grocery store, but you can only get a gallon of milk. You can only get a dozen of eggs or 2 dozen eggs. We worked out 6-7 days a week. Our breakfast for each one of us was 6 eggs. I was like, what do I do other 6 days when we can't have? So it was, I grew up in Croatia, like Kevin mentioned earlier. I grew up on a small farm. We grew up fairly poor. We lived off of land. We lived off of whatever we grew, we had. And for Kevin, this was the first time experiencing scarcity. So for me, kind of woke up that childhood memories. And we had a conversation. I was like, I grew up growing my own food. We can actually try doing that, and we don't have to be depending on a grocery for every single thing that we have to do. And that kind of sparked a conversation about starting a farm and began the search. And that took about 2 years to find a property that we liked. It was not, instant. Finding a right property is really, really challenging. And I always tell people that come and ask us what's one of the biggest things. It's be picky about property that you have to decide what you want to do with your farm and where that farm is. We went as far as New Hampshire to look for the farm. We wanted to stay as close to DC. We always thought that my connection to hospitality industry and DC chefs, that was going to be a main source of revenue for us. We were so disappointed that we had to go so far out in King George, and that was the biggest blessing that we did. We fell in love with this property. That was probably a year and a half in, almost 2 years in. We came down to this property. We were here for 3 hours and didn't want to leave. On the way back, we had another, I think, 4 properties lined up. We seen one more, and we were like, no, let's go. Let's put a contract on this one, and this is it. And we're not going to get luckier. So,
Wow. I love that story so much. And you've won a lot of awards in King George. So it sounds like King George was excited to have you there. I mean, you're providing so much to the community.
Yeah, this community's been amazing. I can't imagine having the life we have now, and just we just entered our 5th season here on the farm, and having gone so far and grown as much as we have without the community here in King George, who've just been absolutely amazing. For the past 2 years in a row, we've been voted by the residents here as the best overall business in King George, best family-owned business, best small business, best agricultural farm business. And it really is just heartwarming to know that we have customers who we say are our day one customers when we were dealing eggs out of the garage, because that's how we started with 35 egg layers. We crossed the Potomac River Bridge we stopped at Tractor Supply, bought 35 chickens, and we started a farm. And a few months later, we were selling eggs out of the garage, and now, today we have a farm store, and we still have some of those people who were showing up, pulling up in the driveway that was filled with weeds at the time, just to grab a dozen eggs.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. So, walk me through what a typical day looks like for you because I imagine it is, I imagine it's way more work than anybody realizes. Am I right?
Oh yeah, 1,000% right. I think the season kind of dictates exactly how much we're doing right now. We are ramping up, and it is, we get up early. I try to still go to the gym in the morning, so the alarm goes off at 5:15. I head off to the gym. Either Dragon sometimes is already up and moving. We get farm chores done. The store opens at 10 a.m. We have a couple of employees that are showing up sometimes at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's just go. I think a lot of people don't realize that I actually have a full-time job outside of this also too.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm also trying to manage my job and manage the team that I have that reports to me,
Wow.
and staying on task with that, as well as trying to be as fully present here as possible. And then, it's just energy out, go, go, go with the animals, with the customers, with the restocking of everything. And this time of year, when we are summer has officially started now, and the sun doesn't go down until 8 or 9 o'clock. It's
Mm.
9:30 before we're
Back in the
ready to
house.
sit down and say, okay, what's for dinner? What
Wow.
is there something that will thaw quickly so that we can eat and get to bed in the next hour? So I always say I think a lot of people see what we do, and they see the reels that we post, or the stories and things, and they romanticize living on a farm and being one with nature and the animals, without realizing that you are out there through the aches, through the pains, through the rain, through the snow. That snow creek that we had this year,
Oh my
I
gosh, all
stopped
that
counting how
ice.
many times I
Oh,
fell, because we have 27 acres, and the animals are not close together, and they, because of the weather, got locked into wherever they were, which meant we couldn't bring them closer to us. We just had to
mm,
make our way towards them, as much as treacherous as it was. It had to be done.
wow. I'm exhausted for you.
Whenever you're ready for a day in life, let me know. I'll give you full experience.
Oh my goodness. Is there anything that just really surprised you that maybe something about farm life or about the business that just really surprised you weren't expecting going into it?
Uh, I briefly mentioned it earlier, demand for local produce.
Hmm.
As soon as we moved here, I was talking to a local ag agent, and I was like, where do I buy corn or wheat? Or I was like, I have a couple hundred chickens. I've driven by half a dozen farms, cornfields, wheat fields to get to here. Where do I buy their local corn?
Mm.
And she gives me a look, and she's like, tractor. I was like, no, that's not the local. Where do I buy local? And then we quickly realized there's not much presence of local product. Yes, there's a farmers market, but it's once a week. What do you do other 6 days?
Yeah.
So we quickly realized, we thought we were going to do farmers market originally. We tried to do pop-ups, but
Hmm.
it was just too exhausting. Just packing up everything. I don't know how those folks that do it. Hats off to them that they do farmers market, getting up at 4 a.m., loading up. It's just amazing. We are lucky enough that we have space and people come to us. Yes, there's a drawback with that. You lose somewhat of a privacy having everybody coming to. We live here on the same space, so yes.
Hmm.
But I would not trade it for anything. It's definitely, we quickly realize how much our community demands local products and wants to support local, and that was just a beautiful surprise.
Yeah. What do you love most about your farm?
I love the sunsets here. Like it sounds, I talk about the sunsets here all the time. They're some of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. And we
Mhm.
can look across the orchard in the evening and it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, we have 5 dogs. So a lot of people don't get a chance to experience them all because they are working dogs on a working farm. But
Mhm.
when the gates close in the evening, a lot of days, all 5 are out running around and to just sit outside at the picnic table, watch the dogs, enjoy life, and watch the sun goes down. There is no better feeling and moment in the world than for me than to just see my dogs enjoying themselves and watch the sun go down and just feel like you are fulfilling something because everything is thriving and enjoying itself.
That's really beautiful. It's beautiful that you just described your crazy day and that you're still able to stop and take a minute and take it all in and enjoy the beauty of what you've created. And that's beautiful. I love it.
And that's a must in this
Mhm.
case. Like if you treat this as another job, then you are looking to, I spent 20 plus years in hospitality, and I was after 20 plus years, I've always been driven by what's next. I worked my way as up to promotions and everything. And the higher I went, and I was less and less home. I was less
Mm.
more glued to the computer, to my phone, answering emails and everything. And any other manager that takes a day off, I'm there to replace there. So it was just becoming a nightmare that I'm never home. And here it gave us opportunity to be home and enjoy all of this. And if you treat it just as a job, you're gonna be becoming hating. Eventually we all hate our jobs, no matter how much, but this became a life. This is a way of life and not
Mhm.
just a job. So
I told Dragan a couple of weeks ago, we were looking around and we had all of these projects going on. And I told him, I said, I look out at all this stuff and I still just see our house. I still just see where we live. And this
Mhm.
place has become so much more to so many people. And it's a farm, it's a store, it's all these things. But to me, it's just home. And I think that that's still something very special to be able to just block everything else out that
Mhm.
happens here and just feel like it's
I'm
still our
home.
safe space, our safe space.
Yeah, that's magical. I love it. I love it. So if someone is listening and they are inspired and they're thinking, maybe I want to start my own business, what advice would you give someone?
Let's say do it. You have to step out on faith. You have to do it scared, do it blindfolded. You're not going to see that next step, but your feet still work. You still have to put one foot in front of the other. There are people see the projects. We have a pile of river rock out this window right here now that's waiting to for another project. And sometimes people say, "What's next?" I say, "I have no idea." And this is always the truth. Like I really have no idea what's happening next week, but we stay open to the universe and whatever the universe brings us. And you should definitely plan, definitely put things down on paper, but don't be so rigid that you are not open to opportunities when they arise. And that's what I would tell people is to keep that frame of openness, opportunity, and a mindfulness of yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I must. I tell people often I may talk about the hardships and stuff, and people say, "Oh, well, I hope it gets better." And I always say, "Well, that's the only option.
Yeah,
Better is the only option."
better is the only option. I love it. That's good. I love it. So, what is something that you wish the listeners knew about Gardening Gaze Farm?
that we are a true working farm, and what that entails. Sometimes people have this vision of a farm life of cute animals running around, little chicks, little baby ducklings, little lambs, and all of this. But those animals that live on our farm have a purpose for this farm. They support this farm.
Hmm.
So whether those layer chickens lay eggs every day, we use them for that purpose. provide them a good life. They're raised out on the pasture, in the open. They get moved to the fresh grass every couple of weeks. They're protected. We have a dog that lives with them. He sometimes gets too excited and snags one of the chickens. So that's why he spends the days on the leash. But then when the chickens are in the coop, because he's off leash and protects them. But we also have, I mentioned earlier, broiler chickens, and they live a short life. They only takes about 8-9 weeks to raise that chicken to a 5-pound bird. And we always like to say, most animals have a one bad day on our farm, and after that they fulfill their purpose, whether they become a stew hen for our layers that were 3-year-old, or broiler chicken that becomes somebody's dinner. But yes, we are definitely working farm. So
Yeah, amazing. So if the listeners want to come visit you, if they want to connect with you, where can they find you?
We always recommend Facebook is the best way to connect with us. Find the Garden and Gaze page with the verified blue check, because there are a few copycats, private groups out there that steal our content. So we do have a verified check on Facebook for those who are looking for the real Garden and Gaze. That's how we talk to our customers every day. We do a post every day, sometimes multiple times a day during the busy season. And you can always know what's in season, what's available, what's on special, what's new, what's upcoming, events that we have planned. TikTok and Instagram have been amazing because it helps to reach a different demographic. And we have lots of people who say, oh, I found you on Instagram and I've come out. And we always encourage them to go over one more I call it the old man's Facebook. Because it really is how we're able to have a true connection and conversations with all of our customers. And we have a YouTube channel as well, with Garden and Gaze on YouTube, where we do a weekly vlog, taking people behind the scenes to see what it's like to operate our 27 acres here. The good, the bad, the wins, the losses, the early mornings, the deliveries, the, egg collection, all of that. We try to capture a little bit of it all and present it in a 30 to 45 minute format once a week on our YouTube channel.
I love that you are, growing in public, and that you're letting people in to see what your day to day looks like. It's makes people feel much more connected to you and your story, and really rally behind you. I love that you do that.
Absolutely.
The power of social media is just amazing. I'm always amazed how many people that we meet, especially business folks that want to partner up with us. And our first question is going to be, do you have a Facebook page, or do you have, you have this free public platform that's giving you so many opportunities. Yes, requires work. Now people look at us, we have 60,000 followers on Facebook, and oh, it's easy for you. We started with one, just like anybody else. It just takes time. You have to treat it as a business. You have to be consistent on it, and it's an awesome platform. And I'm happy to say that probably 80% of our business comes through Facebook. Like it's just amazing, and it's sometimes sad that some of the folks that they don't take advantage of that. Like it's just so.
Yeah, Dragan always tells people, whether you jump now or you jump tomorrow, the water's still going to be cold.
That's what I'm telling you. You're gonna say you have to go through growing pains, through those uncomfortable first videos that you make. I mean,
gotta get awkward and weird before it starts to feel normal, right?
I mean, yeah, but you have to just go through it, and then you'll get better. I mean, this is so.
That's really great advice. Is there anything else that you would like the listeners to know about you or Garden and Gaze Farm?
I think, we try to be as transparent as possible, but with the work that we do and the outreach and connections that we do in our community are really geared towards adults who are interested in homesteading. We get lots of inquiries from schools, from parents who want to come out for field trips and things like that. And we are not There are plenty of other farms that offer that and those types of services, but that's not the type of farm that we run and we operate. Unfortunately, we just don't have the staff and the resources to be able to provide those types of services to people who ask. So we're always honored when we're asked and we're considered, but where we lean on that scale is more in towards the educational aspect of people who are really already practicing and have questions about what is it like when I actually start raising chickens, when I start raising sheep, when I start building my farm stand, my mobile chicken coop, when I plant an orchard. Those are the people that we host for events, and we do that often with cooperation with Virginia Cooperative Extension and Virginia State and Virginia Tech.
Nice. Amazing. Well, I just love everything that you do, and I love your farm. I had such a wonderful time coming out to visit, and thank you so much for joining me on the podcast and sharing it with us.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to fxbgneighborspodcast.com.